I'm going to say something that nobody wants to hear. Feyre doesn't have any friends. She has no friends. And this made me so mad. Like, Nesta, her story, she gains friends. Like, Gwen and Emery are the core, are her core inner circle. They're her group. But the Valkyries are also her group too. Like, these are just like, you know, like with Manon and Asterin and Soren, like these are her second and third. Like, and then the rest, I guess, would be Nesta's like 13. Manon and Nesta are like really alike in a way that I don't like, but that's another conversation for another day. And then Elaine has Nuala and Cerridwen. I got it right this time. I feel it in my bones. Nuala and Cerridwen. And while the Wraith twins work for Asriel, I don't think that they're hanging out with Elaine because they're being paid to or because they're being made to. They like Elaine for Elaine, which is why this is Elaine's squad. Elaine has friends. And I guess Morgan and Amren are like Feyre's girl squad. But no, I don't think so, because Amren was the first one to be like, no, don't tell Feyre about her pregnancy and like how it's going to kill her. And then Morgan, I feel like, is more akin to Feyre's best friend, but Morgan spends like a whole book in Valhalla, like we don't see her interacting with Feyre post A Court of Wings and Ruin. So like these three aren't really Feyre's friends. They're Rhysand's friends who are hanging out with Feyre. Like, if God forbid Feyre and Rhysand they broke up, they got divorced, which I don't think is gonna happen, but in the let's say that it did, Morgan and Amren aren't picking Feyre in that situation. Whereas there is no scenario where Nesta and Cassian break up or they do their marriage counseling thing and Nesta like goes off to her own adventure and leaves Cassian behind. There is no way on this cauldron green earth that Gwen and Emery would stick around with Cassian rather than going with their bestie. That's not happening. These two, I feel like, would also choose Elaine, but I also think that their situation is complicated by the fact that they do work for Asriel and they are in the Night Court's employ, so it might be a little bit different for them. But I also feel like we don't know anything really about this dynamic yet, so I feel like I can't judge it until Elaine gets her book. These three, though, Feyre's getting flat left. Like, that's what's happening. And that's not even to say anything bad about Morgan and Amren. It's just their loyalty is to Rhysand first. That's not necessarily their fault or Feyre's fault or even Rhysand's fault. It's just they're Rhysand's friends first, and they're going to operate that way in the event of a Phasand breakup or a Phasand divorce, which again, I don't think is happening. And this is a huge reason why I feel like the crux of the story, the crux of the ACOTAR story is these three sisters and their fucked up relationship with each other going all the way back to their childhood. They need to reestablish their relationship as sisters, and I don't think Nesta's book does that. I feel like Elaine's book is going to move them a little bit closer together the way that Akasif moved these three sisters a little bit closer together. And then the main, I guess like the final book or whatever, the multi-perspective Kingdom of Ash grand finale of ACOTAR would bring these three together truly in the way that like sister, the ideal sister relationship should be, which would be super beneficial to Nesta and Elaine, but it would also be beneficial to Feyre because Nesta and Elaine would be Feyre's core group of people that would choose her first, because Feyre doesn't have a group of people right now besides like her son and Rhysand that would pick her above everybody else. Because even like Cassian and Asriel and Feyre's relationship with them, their loyalty is to Rhysand first. Feyre doesn't have a Feyre first squad the way that Nesta and Elaine have a Nesta first squad and an Elaine first squad. And I feel like this is super unfair to Feyre, especially since she's the main freaking character of this freaking series. I don't know, man. This just makes me really, really, really mad. Like, really mad for Feyre. And it's weird that I don't see anybody talking about how Feyre doesn't really have any friends. Like, it sucks. It sucks.